So on top there is the apparent pistol that Tamir Rice had in his possession. And just below it is the real gun version of that toy. Look pretty similar, no? In an instant, would you be able to differentiate between those two? And I carried one of these, a real one, for 25 years, a 1911 pistol, not dissimilar from the one on the bottom. So Tamir Rice was walking around a park holding the upper one of these two guns and pointing it at people. Happens other black people. And they didn't like this. They were afraid. So at least one of them called 911 and said, hey, there's this person walking around the park pointing what looks like a gun at people. Now he told dispatch, I'm not sure it's a gun. It might not be real, but it could be real. So dispatch assigned 2 officers to go to the park, see what's going on. And there was Tamir Rice standing by a set of benches or something. And the cop car, 2 cops in a car pull up. Now, they will say they tried to stop a short distance away from Tamir Rice and try to have an opportunity to converse with him. But their car in the snow, and the ground was covered in snow, actually slid right up to within a couple of feet of Tamir Rice. And the cops started giving commands, and Tamir Rice immediately reached for this apparent gun that was tucked in his waistband. And the cops could see the grip of the gun that was tucked, the apparent gun that was tucked in the waistband. And when Tamir Rice reached for that apparent gun in his waistband, they shot him, and he would die of his gunshot injuries. And you may be thinking, but a 13-year-old, how can you possibly shoot a 13-year-old? Well, Tamir Rice was a very large 13-year-old. At autopsy, he was within an inch or two of the average height for an adult male in the U.S. And he weighed 195 pounds. So average height for an adult male in the U.S., 195 pounds. And when he's approached by police, he reaches for an apparent gun in his waistband. Folks, that's going to get everybody shot. And of course, the police don't magically know that chronologically he's 13 years old. They're evaluating the potential threat based on their observations of an adult-sized male reaching for a gun in his waistband. And they were not charged. And at the time, the police chief in Cleveland, Ohio, also African-American, gave a media statement in which he says, the truth is that his gun, Tamir Rice's toy gun, was indistinguishable from a real firearm. And I think we'd have to agree based on this image, especially within the time window that the police have to make a decision. So not only was there a reasonably perceived threat of harm, but the appearance of the suspect was that of an adult male, not a 13-year-old. Also, children kill all the time. I mean, it happens. You look at a place like Chicago, and 13, 14, 15-year-olds are killing each other with staggering frequency. Here, I've got a little graph. This is from Statistica. Number of murder offenders in the United States, 2022 by age. 17 to 19 years old. Maybe not that surprising, right? About 2,300. But 13 to 16 years old, still 1,000 a year. 9 to 12-year-olds. That's where this kid would fall into, that range, 18 murder offenders a year. So just because somebody is 11 or 12 or 13 or 15 or 17 years old, described as a child in the media, Trayvon Martin was 17-year-old, well-muscled high school football player when he attacked George Zimmerman. But what's the image we were all shown? This happy young kid, completely inoffensive. That was not the this is not the Trayvon Martin that attacked George Zimmerman. They often they hide the photos that are not fitting the propaganda, so it can be difficult to find the ones representative of him. Here's one. Here's a series. There's Trayvon with, I guess it's called the grill. Well-muscled high school athlete. These are pictures from Trayvon Martin's own phone, by the way. The marijuana he's growing, a gun in his possession, engaging in street fighting. So he texted in his phone about his street fighting aspirations. And the particular technique he liked the most, he texted, was to get in close proximity to somebody, quickly strike them in the face, and then mount them on the ground and beat them on the ground from a mounted position. Ground and pound, as it was described at the trial. That's exactly the manner in which George Zimmerman described he was attacked by Trayvon Martin. And of course, George Zimmerman would not have known about the texts on Trayvon Martin's phone. Trayvon smoking, it wasn't this kid who attacked George Zimmerman.